please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
As you enter, please slide across the seat to allow room for those who may follow. And please be sure your hands and legs are away from open doors. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Joined today by Mr. Brad Coates.
Hey everybody.
And Miss Rebecca Toon.
Hey, howdy, hey.
This is a DVC Roundtable.
It may be more like the DVC Triangle Table.
That's true. It's a trio.
It's the DVC Kitty Table. It's all good.
It's like one of those.
Relying on Brad Coates and only Brad Coates to provide actual information today.
That's right.
It's like one of those desserts on Disney Cruise Line where you get a little bit of each of the options there.
Yeah,
It's a sampler plan.
A flight.
Absolutely.
It's a DVC flight.
There you go.
However, we do miss the original Super Luger Joe Quattrochi and Miss Emily.
Yes, they couldn't make it today. We hope to have them back soon, sooner than later. Let's just throw that out there.
They just gotta have it, you know? It's easy to do.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
If any of you out there see Emily, tell her we're looking for her.
We are.
We don't know where she's hiding.
It's MIA. And worse, she's MIA with children.
Yeah.
The kids have taken over.
Serious thing.
It's Lord of the Rings in her living room. Anyway, we've got a bunch of good DVC stories today. We're going to catch up on some Disney Vacation Club news for you out there. Who's going to start us off? We had a big discussion, and now I don't remember.
Well, Brad drives the car, so Brad leads the pack.
Brad.
Hey, there you go, yeah.
Come at us, Brad.
I'm behind the wheel. So first story, hot off the presses, just not too long ago, Disney released an announcement that the Disney Skyliner is going to actually be closed for about a week of routine maintenance in early 2023. In the post, it said that all lines of the Disney Skyliner will be closed for routine maintenance from January 22nd through the 29th. And of course, just like when there's storms and everything else, then they'll be providing bus transportation at all Disney Skyliner resorts. And of course, the key one to that is Riviera Resort, because without the Skyliner, there's not usually the bus service to those parks, so they have to add that back in. So the bus transportation will be available at all Disney Skyliner resorts throughout the planned closure. So everybody should still be able to get to their desired destinations using the buses. Now, the Skyliner, there's three different routes, right? There's the one route that goes from Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Resort. And then there's another leg that goes from Caribbean Beach to Disney Hollywood Studios. So when you're going from like Art of Animation, you go to the hub, and then you turn and you go to Caribbean, and then from there you go to Hollywood Studios. Was that correct? I'm trying to remember exactly how that worked.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, that seems right.
And then at that same place at Caribbean Beach, you then can also go to Epcot. Which includes the station at Disney's Riviera Resort.
Yes.
So all three legs are going to be worked on. Now, what I gathered was that they would not all three necessarily be closed at exactly the same time, that it may be one leg closed, and then maybe one of them will be open, but they're really not telling us which ones. It would just be kind of a whichever at the time.
Yeah, they don't want you to count on it being done and one not being done, and
exactly. They can't hold us to anything because they didn't give us anything.
They didn't tell us anything.
But you understand, they're doing maintenance, so it might take a little longer on this one, a little less on that one. So they said something like about 2 to 3 days per route, and but basically that 7-day window, their goal is to have it all finished within that 7-day window. So do you guys have any, that's pretty much all about it. What's your take on that?
I guess I'm surprised it's not been there that long. Like, I guess I'm also comparing it to the monorail, which is probably not a fair comparison. I mean, I'm sure they do maintenance on those all the time, and I don't notice.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're tightening the cable. Imagine keep that from sagging.
Installing air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, no, not in 7 days.
Right. Not in each of those gondolas.
So if you are, so the one that this affects, I guess, the most is the Riviera. Is that correct?
Right.
So if you are planning on staying there that week in January, then you are just going to want to make sure you have alternate transportation.
Yeah, be aware. Because my only input on it is that I did stay at Riviera. It's been a while back. It's been a couple of years ago maybe now. But when I stayed there, one of the days it was storming, and so they shut down the gondolas, the Skyliner. So when it shuts down, of course, they instantly put the bus service into place for you. But it was a nightmare because Riviera's just not used to it. So even though the bus drivers were supposed to be coming and everything, it was timing was off. It wasn't normal. The drivers seemed to be a little lost. And so I'm hoping that between now and then, that and since it's going to be down for several days, maybe it wouldn't be as bad. But yeah, I got to tell you, if I was at the Riviera and the Skyliner went down, I would be very nervous because it didn't go well for me the last time.
It's planned. Maybe that'll make it a little more seamless since it's a planned outage versus a.
Yeah, that's what you can hope for. What are you going to say, Tim?
Oh, if you were staying at Riviera, because I think everyone's other than me, it is a gorgeous hotel. Skyliner, huge perk. Yeah. Would you consider changing resorts if you knew this was happening during your trip? What'd you guys do?
If I'd already done it and I'm going to the resort, then obviously there's a reason why I want to be there. If the only reason I was wanting to be at the resort is because of the Skyliner, then I probably would. But if it was something else, I probably wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't think I would. And I've stayed at it, like Animal Kingdom Lodge, which everybody's, it's so far away. And it hasn't bothered me. So I don't necessarily stay at places like Brad said, for the transportation. I guess my only hope, and if I was only staying for the gondola, I'd probably just pop over there one day and ride the gondola to see what it was like. I don't know that I plan an entire stay around it. My only hope is that they let those families know before they arrive, which it's out in the news, so I'm assuming they did.
That's what we're trying to share this with people. We're helping everybody out.
Yeah.
We're completely useless friends.
By the way, if anybody decides to change their plans because of this information, let us know. I'd love to know.
Or if anybody's there during that time, let us know how
it went.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that would be fascinating.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right,
Emily.
Well,
what you got for us, Emily?
Emily is not here.
Oh, Rebecca.
Brad, you listened to me. That was a mistake. Never
yeah, I know. That was really. Yeah.
I'm not wearing my Grand Floridian bathrobe.
I'm not flouting my GFF points.
I'm not fighting off children. I'm just here with my tequila and a good story. I don't know how good it is. So this next story comes from DVCnews.com. DVC is now accepting reservations for paid seating at Top of the World Lounge through September 12th, 2022. So you better hop on those because that's coming up quick. Qualifying DVC members can now have another month to book a seat in the rooftop lounge at Bay Lake Tower at Disney's Contemporary Resort. For $55 per person, again, that's $55 per person, members will receive a guaranteed seat in the lounge, plus their choice of cocktail, appetizer, and dessert. DVC had previously opened reservations from July 11th through August 11th. This latest move may indicate access to the lounge may be available on a month-by-month basis, with the new dates running from August 12th through September 12th. Reservations are always subject to ability, and contact DVC member services to book. Information regarding the event has been updated to indicate that Wicked Wind Down participants, that sounds like fun, may check in starting at 8 p.m. until 30 minutes before the fireworks begin. The lounge itself is still billed as opening at 6 o'clock daily, with check-ins beginning at 5:45. And there is no indication as to why Wicked Wind Down, say that fast 5 times, Wicked Wind Down participants are not permitted to visit until 8 o'clock. Disney has been adjusting the lounge policies since it reopened on July 11th. The lounge draws the most interest leading up to Magic Kingdom's nightly fireworks display, which is normally scheduled for around 9 o'clock p.m. Access to Top of the World Lounge and the Wicked Wind Down is limited to DVC owners who qualify for membership Magic.
Ooh.
So a nice little perk coming for friends who qualify. I actually have visited this lounge. I have a friend that has a DVC at Grand Floridian, and I have actually been able, or at the Contemporary, and I've actually been able to go up there and visit this. And we had this chocolate cake, which has a very popular name, and I can't think of it right now. But it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Got rained on and was soaked to the skin when we got up to the rooftop lounge, but it was so much fun. It's a beautiful view. And I don't know, I think $55 for a cocktail, appetizer, and dessert is not a bad deal at Disney, to be honest.
Not terrible at all.
I think the price isn't bad. I'm trying to remember though. Tim, did you have any clients that when that opened up that first round, did you have any clients that wanted to book into? Well, you wouldn't have had clients most likely because they're DVC.
Right.
So we're not calling you. So it seemed to me like I had looked and those went really, really fast. As I remember, I may be wrong. Somebody out there is listening, and you have a better picture of it, and you booked it. Man, it'd be great to hear from you. But my one concern with these things, and maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of wishing that they would take some of these perks that they're offering for gold member cards, but also including onto it that one of the people be required to have a reservation. Because lots of times these events and things are gone. Yeah, that they'd be staying at a DVC resort on property.
So not just like I live in Florida or I live nearby and I'm staying for the evening.
Bingo.
Interesting.
Because it's very limited, and what's happened several times with some of these cool events is they're gone so fast. And some of that, I wonder if it's not a requirement on there, if some of the locals aren't just coming up and using it up, because they can just come anytime. And I don't want to make it hard on people that live close by that have DVC points. We're not saying anything that's wrong, but it's just when people are traveling there with a big trip and would like to add these things into it, but they're never available because it just seems like they're always gone so fast. So just a thought.
Yeah. I want to talk just a minute about the lingo for those people who are either like me and mostly Brit points or who are just exploring DVC in general. What exactly is owners who qualify for membership Magic? Is that having purchased through Disney?
I think so. It means you're you're a direct member.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Or resale points that were grandfathered in years ago.
Okay.
Like I have one of those contracts, but yeah, you have to have your card. You have to be a DVC card holder.
Okay, so that's one thing to note. And then Tim and Brad, just for another clarification, the real perk of this, as to my understanding, is that that particular lounge is fairly private. Otherwise, if this didn't exist, it's fairly limited to who can go in. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's strictly for DVC members.
Yes, just DVC
and is
members.
It strictly for DVC members staying at the Contemporary, or just DVC members? Period.
I think it could be any resort.
If you have
okay.
Yeah, but you have to be able to present your digital card. You have to show you are.
Okay, so this is a pretty big perk if you can get the reservation.
Mm-hmm.
And can somebody, just since it has been a minute, tell me what the Wicked Wind Down is?
Did you see info on that, Tim?
I did not. I thought I assumed it was like an after hours, park closing event, just going by the name. We should probably do a quick search.
I'll do a quick search, but I did see it at one point, but
only open to DVC members as well.
Yes, because you can't get in the Top of the World Lounge without, and you can't book that part of it. So I believe you still have to be.
So the Wicked Wind Down is really just what we read.
Yes, it's the event. It's the event.
Correct. Yeah. But it includes, but that I remember now. Yes, that's what it is. It's the event we're talking about, and it includes a cocktail, an appetizer, and a sinfully sweet treat. So
because it's that new.
Why the treat has to make you sin, but I guess that makes it better. So.
Yes, it's got that new villains theme in there.
The marketing here. I'm going to put a really cute name on it, but I'm not going to let you come. I'm not going to let you come until much later than other people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to expect you to pay the same amount for it.
Well, and look, and what they did basically is they took all the food items that are just, they're not, I don't know that they're really anything different than they had on their menu, but they gave them new names. So it's the Unfortunate Souls shrimp and the Lair made hummus and Who's Afraid of a Pork Belly slider. And,
I love Disney so much. Their marketing is absolute wicked genius. But anyway, it's a cool perk if you're if you are membership eligible and you want to partake in this. I suggest, since Brad said they sell out really quick, you might want to get on that. Let us know if you get a reservation or if you've done it in the other months that they've had it available.
Yes.
Yeah, I was interested because I didn't say anything, but I was interested if there would be any of the villain, meet and greets or anything like that thrown in like as a surprise. So it'd be interesting to hear from somebody.
And my assumption is you can check in at 8 and then you see the fireworks at 9.
Yes.
Which might possibly be the Halloween party fireworks.
I would think, if it's a party night.
Well, yeah, at that time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let us know if you do it. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And take a picture and send it to us. We will post it somewhere and talk about it on the show.
Yes, we will.
We'll
talk. Hey, we'll start talking about you at the roundtable, but it'll be nice.
Absolutely. Just be nice.
We'll mention you by name and pat you on the back.
That's right. Who doesn't want their name said in one of our authentic accents?
Yeah.
I don't have an accent. Anyway.
I don't know. I want you talking bad. Okay. So we had another story that we saw up on DVCnews.com that was related to did you see the one about the Disney Cruise Line opportunities?
I did. Tell us about that one,
kind of cool. So when I first read it, I was like, I had to rush over there real quick. I was like, wow, is there a good deal that I need to jump on real quick? Because, they have some Disney cruise discounted cruises, which is whenever you see that's such a rarity. It's like, whoa. And it's specifically for DVC members. So I thought, well, that's neat. I don't remember if I saw a discount for DVC for cruises. So that was cool. Well, what it basically is there's several cruises. Some of them are out of Miami, some are out of Florida, some are out of Galveston. They're specific ones. They're all 4 and 5 night sailings. I said Miami and Florida. They're out of Miami, Florida, and Galveston. And they're 4 and 5 night sailings, so they're none of the 7 night sailings that's going out of other places, of the 5 night ones that are doing a Western Caribbean or a Bahamas one, I believe. So in Miami, it looks like 5 nights starting November 26th, with 6 different ones they've listed here from the 26th through December 24th departure times, which that's an interesting one. That's a Christmas Eve departure, which normally you don't see a discount ever on those.
No, not at all. Not at all.
When I saw that one, I thought, well, if I was up to doing that would be pretty cool. Galveston had the same thing. It's got a couple of cruises listing both in December. One of them, the 23rd through the 27th, which would also be a Christmas Day cruise. So the offer's only available for stateroom categories 4A through 11C, which basically is just saying no suites.
Right. No suites, no concierge.
Advanced ones. Yeah, no concierge, no suites. And I think that also eliminates, I would have to look on those particular ships, but it may eliminate the family rooms. I don't remember. But maybe not, now that I'm thinking of it. I think that's 8. Yeah. So, but anyway, it looks like it's pretty much anything except for suites. The challenges, a couple of challenges here, though. Number one, like many times when DVC does a cruise where it's like a DVC member cruise, you can book it with points, you can book it with points and money, or you can just book it with cash. And so a lot of people will look at that and go, I don't want to burn my points on this, but since I can go on it for cash, I'll just pay cash. In this particular one, you cannot just pay cash. You have to use at least some points in order to book these 35% off cruises. So you can do all points, or you could do, so it'd be 35% less points that'll use, or then 35% discount would be on the cash and the points, from what I understand. Now, remember, anytime you do anything with a cruise using DVC points, there's a $95 transaction fee that applies, and it will apply on these as well. And then let me read this because this is important. DVC points applied toward non-DVC destinations. In other words, Disney Cruise Line, somewhere besides a DVC resort. Those points are converted to reservation points. And if the booking is later canceled, then reservation points may not be used toward a DVC resort.
Crazy.
So you don't get the points back to use at a resort. I think the way that they're basically saying is it gets locked in and it has to be used for a future cruise or a future non-DVC location. So it might work for the trading one that they do. Is it international? I forget who it is now.
Oh, RCI.
Is it RCI still? Yeah, so like RCI. So maybe, I don't know. But basically only thing we see in the article is that you cannot take the points back and then use them on a resort. They're now reservation points used to reserve something non-DVC.
Interesting.
So that's important. So if you're going to look into these, sounds like you better be sure that's what you want to do, because that could get really costly. And then B, you need to be have enough points to make sure that you can at least use some of the points.
Right.
I also see on that article that is another membership magic thing. So only if you qualify.
Good point.
Okay,
that's a good point. Now I haven't run numbers lately, but if I remember correctly, when I was doing this before for somebody that had called in for a question and we were helping them, I think the reason why we encourage people not to use points to book a cruise is because I think it's 50%.
Yeah.
I think it's like twice as much money for the value of the points if you were to rent them. You only get half of that value in the cruise. So that would be a 50% off discount you'd need to get if you used all points. If that's accurate, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like all the years that I've been on this show, the number one thing I have learned from you guys that own is don't use your points for cruises.
Right.
Or pretty much anything else.
And I'm wondering,
they're all weak.
Is this their answer to trying to get people to empty out some of the points they had over the pandemic, or is that past?
That's a good point. That may be.
Yeah, or just get people to use their points.
Concern out there.
Yeah, to get it. And this is not a case, because what we typically encourage people to do is if you want to take a cruise, don't use your points, but rent your points and use the cash for that. Right. But you can't do that in this situation, at least not totally, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah, you couldn't do that.
What the breakdown is? Like what the percentage of points you have to use versus cash?
I Googled, I tried to find something, but I was not able to find anything specifically on that. So, but I did not do a good deep dive on the DVC page.
Right.
And I would say check your the DVC website or your travel agent, because there's also discounts for those cruises just paying cash.
Right.
And because Miami and Brad Galveston aren't their more popular ports. So I think we'll be seeing discounts at those ports for a while. And we just sailed out of Miami. It was a beautiful port and easy to get to. But for a discount, I would go down there again in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Miami and Fort Lauderdale, but you can't do Disney cruises out of Fort Lauderdale, but that is the best port to cruise out of. It's amazing.
They're moving to Fort Lauderdale next year.
Are they?
I think they're moving the dream there.
The airport is literally throw a rock and you can hit the terminals.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's
so
awesome.
you can book hotels there where I've booked it where I got a free shuttle to the hotel. And then in the morning, I got a free shuttle to the cruise.
So you didn't need a car. You didn't, easy peasy.
Nope, didn't. Yeah,
perfect.
It was easy peasy. So I like Fort Lauderdale.
You mentioned a couple that were leaving on Christmas Eve. There's also one that leaves just before New Year's Eve. So if you're looking to celebrate New Year's on a cruise, this could be an option as well if you've got points burning a hole in your pocket.
Well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it actually is a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day cruise. It's December 29th through January 2nd. So, So it makes me wonder a couple things. I think what you said is actually good because I've seen that conversation happening in other places. People are concerned that now they've opened up the window and you can do 100% points, that somehow it's going to get really hard to get bookings because everybody's going to be able to use all their points, which we can talk about that in a minute. But I think that's an overreaction to that, because if they all start using their points now for next year, it just means then next year they'll be wide open reservations because they used up all the points. So it might in the beginning, but it'll all balance itself out. But another thing I thought about was maybe they're doing it because they needed to fill those cruises, right, Tim? These are the ones that don't tend to sell out. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that if there's still space available on a Disney cruise, it's these ones out of Miami, out of Galveston, and then the shorter cruises. So they tend to have some openings. So maybe they're looking to fill it, and they thought, well, let's kill two birds with one stone. Let's see if we can fill the ship and add a perk to try to appease our DVC people to show them, yes, see, we're really looking for ways to plus your membership.
Absolutely. So throw as many offers out there as you can, see who bites at what. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not an offer that a lot of people will use, but it still looks good on their resume that they said, hey, look, we offer discount Disney cruises for you guys. That's how much we like you. So
that's right.
Maybe that's part of it, But anyway, you go about it. If it fit me, it doesn't really fit me right now where I'm at with what I'm looking to do this year. I've already got 2 trips scheduled before the end of the year, so I'm kind of done. But I'm sure there's some members out there that can take advantages. And man, if I was them, I would definitely look into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Fantastic.
Well, I mean, speaking of discounts, just to throw this out there, I was talking to Tim and Brad before we started, and I get a Travel Zoo newsletter every week. And I think I've been getting it for about 10 years. And for the first time ever since I've been on there, they are offering in their top 20 this week, they are offering discounts on the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. It's not a ton. It's about $10 for an adult ticket. But if you already know you're going and you have a family of 4, that's $40 that you could put towards dinner or popcorn or whatever else you want to do. But it was an interesting find to see that pop up on there.
That's cool.
Any way to save some money.
Any way to save some money. I'm wondering if that's gonna. Who was criticized recently on the Disneyland call because they called it they called the annual pass holders an undesirable audience or something to that effect.
Oh, had to have been Chapek.
It was Capstick.
Yeah. Anybody seen him on the street corner with a cardboard sign saying "We'll work for lunch"?
They were talking about
fire that boy.
They said that the revenue is down because of something in undesirable audiences, which because they think that pass holders and DVC members don't spend as much money in the park, and that apparently did not go over well with that.
No, not a good call.
Maybe we could call this the undesirable cruise.
There you go. Oh my gosh.
The wicked line down.
Hey, Rebecca, it just dawned on me, my brain is foggy. I think it was earlier that you were mentioning about the change in the ability to use all of their points now that I was talking about, why I wasn't worried about it. But did you have that? Did you have that information that you might share with everybody to tell them exactly what that means?
What a lovely segue. Can you just come and be my theme music for
I
me,
love
Brad?
it.
So this story comes from DVCFan.com, and in 2020, boy, that seems like a lifetime ago. In 2020, Disney adjusted the DVC policy. I apologize for my new puppy barking in the background. In 2020, Disney adjusted the DVC policy that previously allowed owners to borrow up to 100% of their points to the next year. Instead, owners were then restricted to borrowing only 50% of their available points for the upcoming year. Now, surprise, surprise, as is ever, Disney is changing the rules, and they're reverting back to the previous policy. According to a notice sent from DVC, effective July 12th, 2022, so we're actually ahead of that now. We're about a month past that. DVC members can once again borrow 100% of their points from their next use year to this use year. This provides a wide range of increased flexibility for members looking to plan their next vacation. It's a huge win for members, but maybe a huge loss for DVC availability. Oh, I bet Brad has something to say about that. If you have been on the fence about a future vacation, you might want to consider booking it today. Members significantly impacted by the 50% borrowing restriction will now be looking to use their points, which will further tighten already limited availability. Contact DVC member services for details. And I think this goes right into what Brad was saying earlier about, is this the red button panic moment? And I don't think it is.
I don't think it's a Chicken Little, right? The sky isn't falling.
Yeah.
Because think about it, even if in worst case scenario, they really do rush out there now and suddenly they can just go nuts because they couldn't. Well, they're only talking about 50% of the points of the people who actually steal from next year, which not everybody does. Not everybody's like me and Emily, where we're just looking at going, well, maybe we'll do it in 2 years because I've done used up this. My next family one is going to use up all of 2022 and chunk of 2023. So it's just the way it goes. But even if they use it all up, it's basically putting us right back where we were before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So yes, things will get tight, but it'll just get tight like it always was.
Well, and I think too, if I guess I look at myself as a potential buyer, and if I was going to borrow points from next year, my typical scenario for that would be, I'm going to borrow points because I want to take my family on a vacation. I want to take my extended family on a vacation, which means I'm going to want a bigger villa. Well, the hardest ones to get are the studios and the smaller villas. So,
Good point.
You want to spend your money to rent the big villas and the grand villas, you go right ahead, because now maybe I have a chance at that Animal Kingdom studio that I've been chasing for 3 years.
Well, and that's never going to change. 50 points, 50% or 100% or no percent.
I think you're probably borrowing either to go more often or you're borrowing for a bigger property, and that means
that's a good point.
So that's I'm like you. I don't think it's the big red panic button. Yeah. I think what is it in Jurassic Park? Nature always finds a way.
Yes.
Disney always finds a way.
Yeah. Well, it'll work it out. And you know what? I love what you said, because think about that. Even when over the years when I did borrow points, I was usually just borrowing enough to finish out a reservation.
Yeah.
I was never borrowing all of my points. 50% is a lot of your points, unless
the next year.
Right. But I just said my next reservation for the family, the reason it's going to take all of 2022 and 23 is I'm getting a 3-bedroom grand villa for my family. So there you go. Yeah. You're exactly right.
So
yep. That's a good point.
If you work what I've learned from you guys over the years is you work the system. The biggest thing about DVC is don't go into it blind. Know what you're doing. Listen to podcasts like these. Do your research. Know what you can do and what's smart to do and what's not.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, though, to see how it pans out. We'll see. We're going to find out.
And you know what? Prove us wrong. You're not going to.
Most of the time, that's not really hard. But honestly, go ahead.
They'll just keep building properties.
Right.
So I think it's. So wait, where are you staying in your next big splurge there, Brad?
Ooh.
So we're doing so my youngest daughter got engaged.
Yay.
And so when my oldest daughter got engaged that same summer, we took her fiance with us, and we got two different rooms, one for the guys and one for the girls. Well, this time now I've got my married couple, they're coming, and my oldest daughter and her husband, and then my youngest with her fiance. And so this time we're just going to get a 3-bedroom grand villa. And I'm looking at, I love my youngest daughter. This is her college graduation trip. So, but she's like, oh, I was offering, several of them that were much nicer. And she goes, I like Old Key West. Let's just go there. I'm like,
Oh,
it works for me. It keeps my points way down. But I am vacillating right now to surprise them with Savannah View.
at Animal Kingdom.
So, so definitely be more points, but not a ton more points. Okay. Really, it's not that bad. But I get Savannah View for that. So yay.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Oh my goodness. Are you taking applications for adoption?
As soon as I get these two off my books, maybe. I don't know.
And when is that? When is that trip planned for?
So I'm waiting for the window to open for my 7-month window. We're going to go the very end, Memorial Day. Basically, end of May. As soon as my daughter graduates, mid-May, and then my oldest daughter is a school teacher, and my youngest daughter's fiance, they're both school teachers. So they'll be done that week right before Memorial Day. So as soon as they're done with school, we'll hop the first plane. So we beat the heat as much as we can and crowds,
right?
And head down to Disney World. So
awesome.
That is nice.
That is really awesome.
I'm excited because this will be our first time we've ever done a Grand Villa. So,
we're going to expect pictures, videos, live reports.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Anything you mess up on, we definitely want to hear about.
And I don't know. Let me talk to my wife. Maybe we've got room to, bring a chef down to cook for us.
Oh, listen, I
really spoil ourselves with that Grand Villa.
I can't wait for the photos. Yeah, I bet they're gorgeous. I'm flying Alaskan Airlines in a few weeks, and I was looking at pictures. It's the first time I will have ever flown first class, and I was looking at the bulkhead seats, and they do this tapestry of Alaskan Native Americans on the bulkhead seats, and all I could think of was Animal Kingdom. It reminded me so much of an Animal Kingdom plane.
Atta girl.
Nice.
I'm very excited.
Way to represent.
All good stuff.
All right, guys. That concludes.
So have you guys any other trips anybody got scheduled?
So we went in April for the first time since the pandemic, and it was the most there's something to be said about distance makes the heart grow fonder, for sure. Yeah. It was just my daughter and I. It was a very different trip. We are looking at going back in October because apparently Max from the Goofy movie is headlining the Not So Scary Halloween Party as
Powerline.
Such a throwback to my daughter. When you used to ask her about her wedding, she's like, "Well, I'm gonna marry Max from Powerline." Like, it was just very, very straightforward. She loved it, and she said, "I feel like my childhood needs this trip." So she's also a school teacher. So apparently, the Resort Loop really marries and raises school teachers. So
what's up with that?
Yeah, I know, right? So she's also a school teacher. So we are trying to find a quick weekend in October that we can slip down there and do the Halloween party.
Oh, how nice.
Cool. Which is great. Fun.
Yeah.
How about you, Tim?
No, we just got off the Dream a few weeks ago at this point. Nothing really planned for next year yet, but we will.
That's right.
We will see.
Which ship you were on, the Dream?
On the Dream, we were on one of the first cruises out of Miami. It might have been the second or third, I don't remember, but it was nice.
Nice. And were your kids?
No kids. It was just me and my wife. I know, the first trip without kids.
Yay! Oh, it's golden, isn't it?
It was crazy.
It's magical.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Oh my god, that's amazing.
You can get used to that fast, but it was still weird the whole time. Very weird.
You're like, wait.
Now that was not your first cruise, right?
No.
Disney cruise, right?
No.
You've been on one before.
Yes, we've
You've been on a couple of them, if I remember.
Yeah, I think I'm in number 6. Or we've been on all the ships in a couple different times. So, well, not the Wish yet.
Yeah, but this is the first time without the kids, so that's always fun.
It was very fun.
And
it was
your
crazy.
kids don't be bad. It's just weird to be without kids.
It is.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not after you do it 3 or 4 times, Tim, and then it just feels like it should have been like this all the time.
So I had an inverted trip a little bit. I was on the trip with my daughter, and it was the first time she and I had been on a trip since she turned 21.
Okay.
And so it was such a different, and she has, having grown up in Disney, we went to Animal Kingdom for an entire day, and I'm not joking, we were there from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the only thing we did was go to the Nomad Lounge.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow.
That's it.
And it was the best thing ever.
Exactly.
So, it comes full circle after a time.
I'm sure we'll all travel again soon. I have no doubt about that.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, guys, that covers our news, but we have a couple minutes left. I want to get your thoughts on the end of the H2O products at the Disney resorts.
Hang on, let me channel Emily.
Well, let me just answer that question this way.
Okay.
I immediately got online, the Disney store, and bought about $150 worth of H2 on sale.
Same.
I'm going to miss it. That literally is my favorite shampoo and conditioner that I use, and the body wash. I love it. I love the smell.
The smell, yeah. I will be the detractor here and say it really did not hit my radar because my daughter, who I was just talking about, she has a lot of skin sensitivity, and so we have always and forever traveled with our own toiletries, and nobody touched the H2O stuff, even though I hear it's fine.
Yes.
We just weren't willing to take that chance on vacation.
Right, not if she's got a reaction, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't really tap my radar, but I think, we're all experiencing some growing pains with Disney right now. There's a lot of things that are coming and going and changing, and we ride the wave.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put the caveat out, right, Tim? For those of you that are now upset and going to sell your points and never go to Disney again, get over yourselves. Okay,
right.
Just suck it up.
I will say,
I want everybody on Resort Loop Live to post pictures of them holding all their H2O products.
Yeah, with a boo-boo face. Ooh.
I know.
What were you saying, Tim?
In the shower and clothes, but whatever.
Whatever. We're not here to judge. That's just what we do.
Yeah, so that's what we are.
I will say.
What were you going to say, Tim?
I was going to say, I think this opens up an opportunity for the candle makers or the soap makers out there that sell Disney stuff on Etsy to get that fragrance down and turn it into their own soaps. I mean, the company's going out of business, so it's not like it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's like you can't copy.
Going out for place smelling like Soren. I would sign me up. I want to smell like the Citrus Grove and Soren.
If you're a business out there and you're going to try to mimic the Sea Marine soap from H2O that's in the resorts, contact me. We'll have you on the show. We'll help you promote that.
Absolutely.
I know it seems like such a little thing, but that's one of those vacation smells.
Yeah, it is. Or coming home and opening your suitcase and everything smelling like sunscreen.
Right.
I held on to that. Especially when the kids were young. I held on to that smell for weeks. I wouldn't do the laundry because I wanted that smell. So
yes.
It's part of it. Yeah, it's amazing how we.
Yep. And they've had it that way for how many years? I mean, for a long time. So it's just.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember what it was like without it.
Right.
I don't. Remember.
Honestly, if they would have put basin products in there, I'd be fine with that.
I'm concerned, with who's in charge and all that it's gonna be like Suave.
You're getting
Suave.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be something like that.
Sir.
You'll get this and you'll like it. Here's a little sliver
Got a
of soap
sticker
from
on
the
that
people
bottle
before you.
that's covering up the Walmart logo. What's up with that?
Honestly, especially in the All-Stars and the Valley Resorts, they're going to keep those pumps. They're just going to refill it with something else.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it's not Nair. Oh. All right, guys, I think we need to wrap this up. Oh,
Absolutely.
Rebecca.
It's so good to see you guys.
It's been a pleasure. Way too long. This won't happen again
Wait.
where it's this long.
Let's not. Let's keep it going.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll get Quattrochi and Emily back.
We'll see if we can pay them. I don't know. We'll see what will have to happen. Rebecca, where can somebody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tequila Becca. You can find me at ResortLoop.com. And you can find me occasionally on Instagram, but not really. I like Twitter.
Brett, how about you?
So best place to find me now is either at ResortLoop.com or Family Fun Travels by Brad. And that's pretty much where I am now. I pretty much not doing anything on Instagram or Twitter anymore. It's still active, but yeah.
I still need to figure all that social media stuff out. But I'm Tim Scott. We have the website, ResortLoop.com. Looper Nation Live over there on Facebook. That's our group. Everybody, you've been listening. That's our group. That's where we are. Come join us. It's a fun time. Please. You've been listening to the Gateway to the Magic. Take us out, guys.
See everybody.
Yeeks. Okay, so Joe's not the creepy one when he ends the show. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memory.